Hey everyone, welcome to Fireside Chats episode 2. If you haven't joined me before, I interview entrepreneurs and financial experts to crack the code on everything from your next side hustle all the way to financial independence. This week's episode, I chat with Grant Dougherty, a tax professional from Houston, Texas, who owns Dougherty Tax Solutions. Grant and I first connected on Instagram a few months ago, and we quickly started talking about entrepreneurship. When I asked him what was up for 2022, the new year coming up, he told me, new year, new me, and we got talking about side hustles. So if you're thinking about starting a side business of any type, from mowing the lawn to getting up on Instagram or shoveling snow, this episode is for you. As always, if you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Helping my channel grow will help me keep bringing you great content. Enjoy the show. This tweet that you have about $1,000 in taxes not deterring you from $10,000 in side hustle income. Like, I think a lot of people are going to look to start a side hustle in 2022.
I agree.
So what advice do you have for them? If you're someone that's saying, new year, new me, I'm going to start a side hustle in 2022, but then they start worrying about taxes and all these things. They're like, oh, do I have to set up, an entity? Do I have to do this or that? Do they have to do all that stuff? Should they be concerned about it?
That's a really good question, man. And so the way I like to take this approach is you can't build a house until you have a good foundation, until you have a good base. And so it's a good thing to consider all the necessities, but let's just think about a few things. So in some states, depending on your state, if you go and you get an LLC, you may have a yearly fee that comes along with that. And the LLC, whenever it comes to tax purposes, is not going to give you any type of incentive. So you're not going to get any tax benefit for having an LLC. The purpose of the LLC is for legal liability only. Okay. Now, it's very important to have legal protection because you don't want to get sued and have people come after your home and all sorts of stuff. But you want to understand first that you're not going to get any type of tax incentive for it. So weigh those risks, understand what you're getting yourself into before you go and get yourself an LLC. Now, when it comes to the financials for your business and paying your taxes, one of the things that I highly recommend, well, first off, you should automatically be doing this. You should have a checking account for your personal affairs, and you should also have a checking account for your business affairs. Okay. Now, I even stress to new business owners that you need to take it a step further. So you have your separate bank accounts. Okay. Your business bank account can be broken up even further. So what I mean by that is you have your business checking, but you also have another business checking for your taxes. 30% of all your income, no matter what, should be set aside for taxes to pay your bill at the end of the year. Now, if you end up using all of that money to pay your bill or not, that's another story. Because here's the thing: what if you have extra money that you just don't have to pay come tax season? You get to go on a nice vacation or something. You have extra capital.
It's there.
So now what happens if you have a large tax bill, but you don't have any extra money sitting to the side? That's when you have a problem. So just go ahead, prepare for, doomsday, and take 30%. 30% is a good general number. If you're going to be in a high income tax bracket, maybe go like 40% just to be on the safe side. But even then, I would even stress breaking it out even further than just those two bank accounts. I would even have one set up for, this is going to be my profit that I take home. This is what I'm going to pay myself. This is going to be my bank account for all of my marketing expenses. This is going to be my bank account for all of my equipment. You can break this out. And this is almost like, like a foolproof way of budgeting without actually getting out a tracker and just having all the numbers set out. Because I get it. Some people are intimidated by these large spreadsheets, and it is a lot. You can take all of that hard work and all of that, mind crunching numbers out and just set it up to where it's done automatically for you. You just have to work with what you have.
I think this is a lot of good advice in here. Let's say I pick up some side hustle.
Mowing lawns.
Okay, mowing lawns. Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna go out there or shoveling snow. If you're in a snow area, right? I'm gonna shovel snow. I'm gonna mow lawns. That's my side hustle.
Cool.
So I get a few clients, suddenly I got a couple bucks coming in. The idea of having separate bank accounts to do this, it makes complete sense. I might say though, man, this seems overly formal for little old me. All I'm doing is like shoveling snow. So why should somebody do this?
Because you're a businessman. The thing is, you need to treat yourself like you are a corporation. If you want to be, like the best, you have to treat yourself like the best. And so you
Ooh,
would
I like
never
that.
go into a corporation and you don't see all these different you have an accounting department, you have a finance department, you have a marketing department. They have that stuff really broken out at a corporation. You don't even have to do that much as a one person. Now maybe the more you grow, if you have a net worth of like $1 million, okay, maybe you need to start getting a team and you need to get a little bit of professional assistance. But if you're just starting out and you're taking that mindset, you're already doomed for failure. You're going to run into all sorts of issues. How are you going to track your expenses? Yeah, we haven't even talked about that. I get it. You don't think that you are big enough to be treated like a big business, but I guarantee you no wealthy person has ever sat there and thought that little of themselves before. They always take things seriously and everything is very business-like. So you are a corporation. The best corporations don't take this stuff lightly. You shouldn't either.
I love that. I love that. And you also have to think, you don't want to get too crazy with the liability and what can happen down the road. But at the same time, you don't want to forget about that.
Right.
You don't want to forget that you could be on someone's property shoveling snow, mowing the lawn. Maybe you hit a sprinkler and you damage something. Then what? You got to think down the road a little bit and say, hey, something might happen. How do I set myself up to protect myself or to have money on the side? I think about for real estate, if you own real estate, you're not taking all the rent and just putting it in your bank account, right?
No.
You
No.
have to account for a sink or pipe breaking or something. So why wouldn't it be the same if you had your own small side hustle?
Right. We are creatures of habit. So when we get into the habit of being comfortable, hey, nothing's happened in 2 years, 3 years, I'm good. I don't need to worry about it. That's when it happens. It's almost like the stock market. Everyone gets all this euphoric feeling like, oh, stocks only go up, and then you burn a hole in your pocket.
Yep. All right. So your tips, if it's new year, you started a side hustle, you're looking at bank accounts, you're saying forming some sort of business entity, likely an LLC or a corporation.
But you don't necessarily have to form one. If you just go out,
Okay.
you just engage in business, you don't even have a formal entity set up, you can still file a Schedule C as a business owner. You just don't have legal protection.
Got it. So that's great. Some people start a business and they often think, I need to formalize this and form a company and do it. You don't need to do that, is what you're saying.
Right.
That's great. So start with the separate bank accounts. I think that's like the best tip here, right? New year, new you. Start with the separate bank accounts, but more importantly, just start generating income.
Right. Get that hustle going. You never know what you can accomplish until you try.
Love it. Grant, we go back and forth. We DM all the time on Instagram. I know you've got a course dropping in January. So why don't you just give anybody listening a little synopsis of what's to come?
It's going to be a big course. It's going to be big time. I'm going to drop a lot of gems in there. So let me just give you a general outline of how it's going to look. It'll have several modules. First module will be Intro to Taxation. Why do we have taxes? What do they do? The general tax formula, basic tax planning that every taxpayer can implement, not just business owners or real estate investors, but every taxpayer. And then module 2, we'll move on to business taxes. We'll go over everything that you'll need to know as a business owner, how to write off a vehicle, entity selection, S corporation versus C corporation, and all the different things that go into that. Module 3 will be all about real estate taxes. And then module 4 will be high-level tax planning that will involve a combination of both real estate and business taxation. And then I'll offer a bonus module, which will be cryptocurrency and NFT.
Cool.
Yeah, that'll be a bonus module.
Well, I'll have you back on for another conversation about cryptocurrency, because that's
No.
I mean, that's a whole other conversation.
Oh, and here's the thing, man. Especially with NFTs, there is no real guidance on from the IRS on NFTs. So everything that I would be, going over in that course would be based off of what I know about the tax code and how I believe the IRS would go about taxing NFTs. Now, of course, they already have guidance on cryptocurrency, and I believe NFTs are purchased with only cryptocurrency, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of taxable transactions that go along with that. And because of those taxable transactions with cryptocurrency, we kind of can gauge how they may identify an NFT whenever it comes to taxation purposes.
Cool. Sounds like the course is going to be a must-have for just about anybody engaged in business, probably even personal knowledge as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Real estate business owners, people just who want more knowledge on taxes and tax planning. So I'm pumped for you to drop that. Sounds awesome. Well, thanks for being on. Really appreciate it. And I'll put all your socials in the comments here so people know where to find you.
All right,
And
man.
where to buy your book too. Awesome.
All right,
It was good chatting.
All right, man. Hey, take
Have an
it
awesome
easy.
day.
Keep killing it on IG.
You too. See
All
ya.
right, man.
Be honest. Do you enjoy what you watched? If so, go do something nice for someone today. Give a compliment, call a friend to just say hello, or if you're feeling extra generous, subscribe to my channel. See you next time.